Hey guys, how are we doing today? Hope all is well. So yesterday we talked about box and whisker plots and data distributions involving mean, median, mode, range, and all those sorts of things. That's what we did last time. Today we're going to look at some graphs that may or may not be, even while they're giving the correct data, are put in such a way that can be misleading. So 10.4 is misleading graphs and statistics. That's what we're going to take a look at today. So it says, for example, it says a random sample. All members of the group being surveyed, or that's what a random sample is all members of the group being surveyed have an equal chance of being selected. That's our vocab. That's what a random sample is. So if it's completely random, everyone has an equal chance to be selected. Now, as we'll see later, that's not always the case. So let's look at some graphs that can be misleading. Now, initially, when you look at this graph, okay, that's giving data. I mean, nothing crazy there. But when we look closer, why would this graph be considered misleading? So when we look at Lazaro here, his score is 109. And then we look at, Kim Lee here. His score is 101. But when you look at these two, it looks like Lazaro is so much better than Kim Lee. But when we actually look at this, between 101 and 109, that's only 8 points, or however this is scored. So although it seems like those two are significantly different, I mean, it looks like Lazaro's doing like 10 times better than Kim Lee. Really, he's only 8 points ahead of her. So explain why the graph is misleading. You can say appears to be greater difference between scores. Okay, what might someone believe because of the graph? Lazaro scores are far better than everyone else. Which player do you think made the graph? Who do you think has the most to benefit from this? Yeah, Lazaro. That sneaky man. All right. Graph 2 shows the price change of product X over 1 year. So explain why the graph is misleading in this case. Well, again, this is accurate. However, in this case, again, it's showing 48 to 43. So really, it looks like it's dropping significantly, but again, it's only dropping by $5, which isn't crazy when you're talking about $48. So explain why the graph is misleading. Again, appears to drop in price drastically. Okay. What might someone believe because of the graph? Product price has been, it looks like it's been cut in half at least. Because this point and this point are even more than half, honestly. It looks like it's way, way, way less. Who might want to use the graph? So if you are somebody that's trying to show that there's a huge drop in price, this would be for somebody who's selling this. because they're trying to say, oh, hey, look how much it's dropped in price. You should buy now. So whoever's selling this product is trying to show, hey, now's the time to buy because it's at an all-time low. Look how much different the price is. And you might go, oh, wow, this is a great sale. But in reality, it's only dropped $5. So, all right. Circle graph shows how Dante spent his allowance. Explain why the graph is misleading. So when we initially look at this, it doesn't seem, anything too weird. But then we think, wait, 40%, 30%, 10%. What does that all add up to? Yeah, 80%. It's not even 100%. So why is the graph misleading? Doesn't add up to 100%. Just like on these, they didn't start at 0. So like on your homework, that's a lot of the time it's going to ask like, why is this misleading? Well, it didn't start at 0. This one doesn't add up to 100%. So who might Dante show his graph to and why? Well, if this is Dante's allowance, he should show this to his parents because it's indicating, look, mom and dad, I'm spending so much on lunch and it doesn't give me much money to spend on movies then. But he's not putting in the full story. Lunch is not taking up 40%. It's out of only 80. So yeah, he's going to want to show this to his parents to try to convince them that he needs more money for his allowance. So it says Joe surveyed people at an Italian, oh, this one's completely different. Joe surveyed people at an Italian restaurant about his favorite foods. Explain why this statement is misleading. 75% of our community prefers Italian foods. Okay, now this goes back to what I talked about at the very beginning about what a random sample is. Random samples, all members of the group being surveyed have an equal chance of being selected. So if he goes to an Italian restaurant and asks about Italian food, do you think that could be biased? Yeah. So him saying 75%, which kind of boggles my mind. If you're getting this from an Italian restaurant, if you don't like Italian food, I don't know why you're eating there. So to me, that should have been 100%. But anyways, apparently 25% of the people that are eating the food didn't even like it that much. They were just there for the friends and trying to please them, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, why? Yeah. So explain why why it's misleading. Well, it's not a random sample. Not a random, sample. Selection was only from a few people. All right. And that's 10.4, misleading graphs. Let me know if you guys have any questions about with the not random selection, sample selection, or anything else on here.